one of the women accusing Russell Brand of sexual assault, allegations that Brand has vehemently denied, has claimed he employed the use of BBC chauffeur-driven cars to take her to and from his house when she was a 16-year-old schoolgirl. Over the weekend, 48-year-old Brand has been accused by a number of women of sexual assault, abusive behavior and rape, allegations that Brand himself has directly and fully denied. One of the alleged victims has been using the alias Alice and claims she was assaulted by him when she was just a 16-year-old schoolgirl and he was 30. The allegations were originally broadcast in a Channel 4 Dispatches documentary and via a The Times and Sunday Times investigation, while more allegations and details have emerged since the bombshell allegations were made. On Monday, September 18, 2023, Alice spoke to journalist Emma Barnett on BBC Radio 4's Women's Hour show where she claimed to have been transported to and from Russell's home by BBC cars, which are ultimately funded for by the licence fee-paying public. Emma asked, "There is a specific allegation that I wanted to ask you about that the BBC is now investigating. And that is that a BBC car was sent to collect you, I believe, is it on a number of occasions, to go and see Russell Brand. Can you tell me a bit more about that?" Alice said, "He had 2 car accounts. We weren't Ubering then. He had an Addison Lee car account and then he had I don't know if he had the account of the BBC that he had for us too. But, the BBC would arrange cars for him and so he would, you know, I'd seen him previously be picked up from his house by BBC cars. So I knew the difference. And also it was a chauffeur-driven car. It was different than just calling a cab. He had a friend who was taking him to do his radio show so he said to me, you get in the car and you go wherever you need to. So he said to me you get in the car and you go wherever you need to go from there. So I took the BBC car that time and on another occasion, it picked me up from school." Emma then asked, "So you believe a BBC car picked you up from school to take you somewhere to meet him?" And Alice replied, "It was back to his house." Emma then asked, "And you know that because of the way you had seen these cars used? That's your understanding of it being a BBC car?" And Alice replied, "Yes, and because I'd used one of their cars previously that he'd told me just to tell the driver where to take me." Seeking further confirmation, Emma said, "So a BBC chauffeur-driven car picked you up at the age of 16 to take you to Russell Brand's house?" And Alice said, "Yes. Yep. On Friday, ahead of the bombshell allegations, Brand denied he had committed any crimes." In a video statement that he shared online, he said, "These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies. And as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual." Emma also asked Alice for her thoughts on Brand's statement rejecting the accusations of rape and sexual assault. She said, "First of all, I think it's insulting. And it's laughable that he would even imply that this is some kind of mainstream media conspiracy. He is not outside the mainstream. He did a Universal Pictures movie last year, he did Minions, a children's movie. He is very much part of the mainstream media. He just happens to have a YouTube channel where he talks about conspiracy theories to an audience that laps it up. And it may sound cynical, but I do think he was building himself up an audience for years of people who would then have great distrust of any publication that came forward with allegations. He knew it was coming for a long time. And then, as for him denying that anything non-consensual happened, that's not a surprise to me. These men always deny that any of these allegations brought to them. I knew he would. But what he didn't deny, he did say it was consensual. But he didn't deny that he had a relationship with a 16-year-old. If you've been a victim of sexual assault, you can access help and resources via www.rapecrisis.org.uk or calling the national telephone helpline on 0808 802 9999.